I think there was a lot of people looking up Thompson that year, but now I have a question for you, Seb and Johan. Do you think that Thompson or Anna could have been this successful in other rosters? Because they will be successful. They're both incredible players. But this successful? I don't know, eh? They're both very creative and very special kids.
So I was going to mention that it's a bit paradoxical to actually fully win someone over, to fully gain somebody's trust. I think of it like you have to show yourself that you are no better than the person in that room, that you are the same, you're the same human being who went through the womb, who was a baby, who was like vulnerable. You have to expose all your weaknesses, that you're not sure. At the end of the day, you don't always feel sure about your Dota things, about, you know, are you the best? Do you know your shit? Are you better than this guy? Are you always going to crush it? And once you show that side and you show, yo, bro, I'm like you, I think it's very important, because I think to really get as far as you need to get, you're going to have to do it. But now that you do it, you also open a door to the other person doubting you as much as he doubts himself. So if Seb or me were to go to a new player and be like, yo, bro, that we won TI doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Like, we're just like you. Your potential is higher than ours. You know, you can be a better player than we've ever been, and you can be that tomorrow. While you say that, you also, again, it's like the paradox where you're also letting them know that you can be equally shit, you know, that you have the greatest potential, but that you're as shit as they are right now, or you have the ability to be. And I think this, for a lot of people, kind of festers, and they actually start doubting that you might not have it, or you might actually, you know, and I don't want to say it, but you might have fluked it, you know, like you might have gotten somewhere without being good enough through chance. I'm not saying that that's always the case, but I do think that these things jump into a lot of people's head, and it's something I felt talking to young players. So the younger the better in general, because I think there's less of it the younger they are, but also the more they're open to get inspired, the more they're open to learn, the more they're open to actually view you as somebody who can help, meaning you know better, the more you can help them. Because if they start thinking that you don't know your shit, I mean, it's going to be very limited to how much you can help them, like how much you can actually give them, because they might not take it in or listen. So yeah, I struggle a bit with this as like a concept. Also for the new guys, is like, I want to really diffuse the whole situation of like achievement or past experiences, to kind of go on the same playing field or the same level. But then at the same time, when you go on the same level, they might get taken advantage of you, or like you're not going to be that cocky motherfucker who knows everything, which also has its own way of backfiring, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Does that make sense to people? Does that resonate with either of you?
No, it does. You just have to find the right balance, I feel. But maybe it's also it depends on the profile of the person you're addressing, and then maybe some person will function better if you show them that you're equals, and you're just, you know, like you just have to follow one way, and if it's going to be my way or your way, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we do it properly, meaning we put enough trust and enough, you know, effort and whatnot. And for others, maybe you actually need that what's it called, to keep that pedestal, kind of like, hey, this is me, this is you.
Big dick ego.
But no, but sometimes, I mean, you know, it's a struggle. Like I have found myself in many situations where I'm like, okay, what face do I put now? Like, how do I behave? And it's like, it's not even about being spontaneous anymore. It's like, what is the best way to inspire that person to, at the end of the day, just like listen to me, listen to Johan, listen to just follow the team, and, you know, find his place. And yes, I mean, some people are really good at that, I think, naturally, and some people are really bad at that. Like I remember yesterday, like Jarex, like, and I mean, for instance, you have profiles like Topias, that he's really good at that because it suits him, it suits his personality, that he doesn't have to take too much responsibility, that there's already a lot of things happening and the direction is kind of decided already, and then he can just, you know, like do his own thing quietly, focus on what he cares. And then you have profiles that naturally kind of will clash with this, which is Jarex. Like, he has very strong ideas, strong opinions about everything, not a follower by any mean, more of a leader. but then smart enough emotionally or whatever that is to understand that, hey, in that situation I need to take a step back, this is how I need to behave and whatnot. And then you have the people that don't have the right profile and also don't read the room at all, and then they just, you know, keep setting everything on fire, and then you have to find the best way to get them to tag along. Or maybe it's just impossible. Maybe as you know, Peter was talking about, like the team dynamic, like the math doesn't add up, and you're stuck with that, and yeah, you just need a change or reassess.
Peter, I remember after you won,
every team is different.
after you won, you mentioned to me and publicly that you didn't enjoy playing with Aoi. That is like you needed for next year. It's like not only I want to win with this specific roster and with this specific thing in mind. Because I think that if you have kept Aoi, you could have in a way like paraglide, you know, for the next year with the same kind of roster.
Sure. I think one of my hindsights is during those years I felt like I was unstoppable, I would say, and that, like, you know, nothing could trip me up. But that's just not the reality of life. Like, there will always be things that will catch you off guard and surprise you, and you know, the choices that you make, like, you know, kicking Aoi, for example, and, you know, wanting to win with Arteezy, not it happens. You know, it's happened to a lot of people.
Will Arteezy ever win a major event?
Now, not with Evil Geniuses. That's my hot take.
Okay.
So
Seb
I
was
actually
right.
agree with that take. I agree with that take.
I did not even say that ever. Like, you're going much further than I ever went. I just said, give it some time, guys. Don't get ahead of yourselves. That's all I said in that quote.
He's pretty
Just
good.
leave me alone with that quote.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Maybe not one of the.
I said he's definitely
it's-
okay or something like that.
I do think that from what I witnessed from you guys, you know, I'm not like really that endemic from the Dota inside, you know, but I've been now already for 3 or 4 years around Dota players, and what I consider, well, you guys are in this call, 3 of the best captains ever in Dota. It's undeniable. And I believe that you guys are very, very different, but your heart is actually very similar. It's just in a way, Seb and you, Peter, are very, very, very similar. You just have a different user interface, but your heart is the
Yeah,
same.
and
You
swindle
guys,
balance as well.
you guys, and I've friend with Kyos, is that the only difference is that you guys don't allow mediocrity. Mediocrity is not a word in your life. Nobody's allowed to be mediocre ever at any point on nothing. You put a level of expertise and a level of devotion on your own craft that then you require everybody else to take it just as seriously as you guys. This is shit, you know? And I think that, I mean, Seb,
Yeah, we're basically the Michael Jordans of Dota right here, I would say.
your quote, not mine. But you know what I mean? Like, Peter, you've never been mediocre on anything. You don't like being mediocre ever. So you don't allow mediocrity around you.
I mean, you can be
That's
mediocre.
why I can't play Valorant. I just
mean,
get destroyed.
You can be mediocre. It can happen, but accepting it, kinda, and going on with it, maybe that's hard to.
Yeah.
That's hard to accept.
That's an old man learning. You become humbled at a certain age. And back to Seb's point about leadership, and I know we've been talking for a long time, so we have some stuff coming up, so I want to end this eventually. I know we could probably talk for hours about Dota and our experiences. But learning how to, like, first off, leadership is a skill. I do believe that it can be learned. It's just more natural for others, especially like in the younger, like early 20s. You're either a leader or you're not. But as we kind of glow up into our 30s, I think you can learn how to teach others about your experiences. And it's not just your endemic experiences in your field, but also like the management and like interpersonal relationships with coworkers. So learning how to lead and understanding that everybody kind of has to be led in a little bit of a different way is very tricky, but important.